Welcome to Tigers Untapped, a Bluff City Media podcast. Stepping up to the microphones are your hosts, Trey Lasley and TJ Willis. Pull up your chair, grab your favorite brew, and enjoy the conversation. Now, let's get to the show.
Memphis, most beautiful land in the world. We're 7-2, Tej. TJ, we've had a little bit of a hairstyle change.
Yeah, your hair's blue.
And yours is gone.
Yeah.
Turn around, TJ. Let me see the back of that beautiful coif of hair.
Little Theo Von.
Yo.
Just gone.
I don't know about Theo Von. It's just
Little business in the front, party in the back. Mullet-ay.
Little.
Is it mullety?
It's a little. It could pass as a
Yeah,
mullet.
I just told her to cut it, dude. I don't know what you want from me.
She done good.
How does it feel to wash it?
It looks
It's
good.
a lot less effort for sure.
Yeah?
I mean, it was probably
Oh, they're
It was-
working tonight. We added the water. That is rough. Wow.
it's probably 11 inches, and now it's obviously not. So
What?
What?
my hair was probably 11 inches, and now it's not.
You know nothing about 11 inches. Oh, that was way too close.
That
You're
was too
supposed to
close,
stay
bro.
6 inches
Bro,
away.
bro.
Did you not watch
right.
my tweet?
Bro.
Okay,
Sorry, my
way
X video.
too
it was a
much.
wake-up call.
Wow.
All right, the show's canceled. My eyes are watering.
Yeah, it was
it's
way
amazing.
All right, tonight we having this is Grind City Brewing Co. Thaddeus. It's an amber lager. Grind City Thaddeus.
Thaddeus Young.
Say that again. Maybe. Could be a reasoning.
That is delightful.
Hey,
I can
Reviews
I can't
at the
say that.
end,
That's
dude.
not a review. I'm just letting you know that this is hitting the spizzy.
It looks like an energy drink can.
It does.
Kenny, I'm gonna need you to call an ambulance.
Are you okay?
Even a white
That
claw.
was. It hit a little close to me. Trey, you pointed it out.
This
we
can
are
looks as
7-2,
white as my
dude.
face does.
I needed that, Kenny. You just went over close. 7-2. Tigers win. Ba-ba-da-ba-ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Go Tigers, go! How about that game? 59 big ones. Is that the most points we've put up in the Ryan Silverfield era?
Yeah. No. What about the North Alabama? I think that may have been 59.
60-something?
No, wasn't that 56-0?
I thought it was 59 0.
Maybe it was 59.
Anyway, hey,
Okay, so we tied the most points.
way more fun than a boring blowout, right? If you're looking for an entertaining factor.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen a couple other people say this, but I said it mid-game. It was a very Norvell-esque feeling ball game.
Hey,
You're going to upset some people with that.
I felt the same way.
I'm just saying, people have been frustrated with how boring the games aren't exciting. There's no big plays. You're not putting up a lot of points.
Oh.
59-50. We had a lot of shootout-esque, and I get it. It was South Florida. Their cheeks, their boo-boo. But they're 4-5, and Golish has got that squad. I mean, they've got a good offense.
Yeah.
Now, we might have the worst defense in the entire nation. They were just picking us apart like it was nothing.
Man, that really turned around. Remember, we went a couple of weeks and we're like, damn, this defense is pretty
What?
good. It's pretty good. And it wasn't. Well, I mean, they're good. I will say,
They're good at times.
well, the last 2 weeks are kind of a bad example to look at that because you're playing two offenses that are super powered offenses. I would say they're probably both fringe top 25 in scoring, something high
I mean,
up
I think
like
they're
that.
both top
Like,
15 overall in the country.
yeah, like those are two really good offenses, and I think that they scheme very well. They have two head coaches that are big scheme guys, one being a Mike Leach air raid guy. Golish came under douche nozzle at UT. What's his name? Heupel. Like, I mean, you
Batman. Have you seen that picture of him floating around? He's dressed as Batman.
No.
What a goober.
Both brilliant offensive minds, but that's the thing is that you're coming from these
You know what? It's
high-powered
also
offenses.
they had a bye week, so you know they put things in that we
Gotta
haven't
have
seen
the
before.
bye week. Everyone does, dude. Anyway, I mean, going back to it, without just like going stat by stat. I mean, I was pleased with the offense. I mean, you had
offense
two
looked great.
receivers. Rock Taylor, 5 catches, 159 yards, 2 touchdowns. Demir, 6 catches, 142.
Wormhole was having a heck of a game, especially early on. We marched right down the field, scored fast. Big plays all around. Seth, 23 of 40 for 350 and 4 tutties, plus 1 on the ground, of 5 total touchdowns and 42 yards rushing. We
the
had
touchdown?
almost 400 total yards,
Yeah.
5 tutties, and then didn't even play the whole game. Had to take himself out.
You know, it's funny. Like, I thought he played a really good game, and then you go back and look at the stats, and like you said, 23 of 40. What's the percentage on that? Like 50, 60 something?
Probably 55, 54%.
Whatever. I mean, that in itself is not very impressive, but I never got the feeling that there were a ton of drops. There were a couple overthrows. I remember one specifically to, I think it was Skates, perhaps. I think he ripped a big bomb to Skates and maybe just overthrew him, and he had him wide open too. But I think we ended up scoring on that drive anyhow. But yeah, I mean, I thought the offense looked great. You know, Towski's starting to get a little bit more involved, and I think if you can get any combination of Rock and Demir going, you have your safety blanket in Kobe Drake. You have a big-bodied Towski Dub out there. Skates can always stretch the field. Like, you can come at teams with a lot of different angles, and I think they actually have a chance to kind of get something going here, especially with Brendan Doyle being an absolute monster in the
I was
end zone.
about to say they are really starting these last 2 weeks getting the tight ends involved.
Yeah, it did.
Really last 3, I guess, since the UAB game. Doyle and Lansford. Lansford
Landry,
had a nasty catch in the corner of the end zone back there.
I will say I was a little upset with not upset. That's not the word. With the running game, you could tell that they prioritized the pass this game.
I mean, yeah, you honestly didn't.
You didn't really
need.
run. Yeah.
There was no need to really have a running game because you're able to pick it apart through the air.
Yeah, and I think that was all a part of it, honestly. I think that was the strategy. He only had 10 carries, he being Blake Watson, only 10 carries. Seth obviously called his number a couple times. Blake got kind of banged up. Brandon Thomas came in. Kind of is what it is, right? I don't think that you ever really needed the run game to be as dominant.
I mean, we say that. You still had 3 rushing tutties.
Yeah, of course.
That 35-yard one from Blake.
You know, kind of a fun fact. Blake Watson is now at 10 touchdowns on the year. Kenny Gainwell only put up 13, which is kind of shocking to me. I just, for some reason, thought he had more than that.
What, in the 19 season?
Mm-hmm. I just thought he had a couple more. We are both strategically just dodging what the defense looked like for the most part. I mean, it kind of is what it is, right?
Trash until what? South Florida took the lead. So let's talk about it. First half, you come out of the first quarter up 21-7. It feels like it's going to be a blowout. Sure, they had a little touchdown drive there. It's early.
Sure.
Their second drive, after having fumbled on the weirdest, like, I don't know, the balls were greased up. They were flying all over the field that first quarter. I don't know who lubed the balls up, but nobody could hold on to them. All sorts of fumbles.
I thought there was only one fumble.
No, there were like 3 or 4. We just only recovered one.
Oh, okay.
Get a touchdown drive, you come back, score, make it 21-7, make them punt again, drive down, get into scoring range, but end up missing the field goal. At that point, it was going to be 24-7, really. And you feel like that's a game you have in tow. Defenses had settled in after that initial touchdown drive. Missed the field goal, little momentum swing. South Florida gets a tutty. You come back, get a tutty. You feel like maybe that's the point.
Mm-hmm.
Right before half, you're up 14 again. Forced to punt. I don't know the last time we had a punt blocked, but that was devastating.
Yeah,
really
felt
swung
bad from the get-go.
Yeah, I mean, really swung the momentum. Instead of going in up 14, they end up taking, 2 plays in 3 seconds or something, 6 seconds after that to score.
Yeah.
Come out, get the ball started at the half, and immediately tie it, basically. Took 3 minutes, go down and march down the field and tie it. All of a sudden, you're at sitting where it was 35-21, I think, about 60 seconds before half, 40 seconds before half, and now you're tied all of a sudden. That punt block just feels like it was huge.
It was definitely huge. I mean, I think that's a big momentum changer. I think you're thinking going back on a punt block, dude. I don't know if I can recall one.
I don't remember the last time we had any kick blocked.
And you saw it from, like, the moment the ball was snapped. You're like, all right.
They had 4 or 5 guys.
Yeah, it was, something happened
blocked.
there. I think there was a misunderstanding on that the ball had been snapped or something. It was kind of wild.
So anyway, defense real shoddy. You go down, get a field goal to take the lead back after that initial touchdown drive. They come down, march right down the field, 75 yards, 2 minutes, take their first lead of the game, 42-38. And that's where I'm thinking to myself, we're about to lose this game at home to South Florida.
Not a chance.
It felt like it.
Do you think the tempo was kind of the reason for all of this? Like, South
They
Florida
plays fast as heck.
Yeah, they play. I think they had like the most plays, something like that.
I mean,
plays
they
per
were
game,
snapping the
everything.
ball within 10 seconds of the play clock every time.
Does that concern you, seeing the way we struggled, knowing that SMU also plays hella up tempo?
What? SMU and Temple have combined
also
teams.
plays
That
up
would concern me.
tempo.
That's like 160 people on a football
Up
team.
tempo.
I mean, now you've got a taste of it now, right? I mean, yeah, it does. It's concerning that seems to be a problem for us.
Yeah.
I don't know why it was a problem to the extent that they were able to put up 50 points. Florida A&M sure didn't have a problem with it.
Yeah, I'd have to go back and look at the stats. I don't know if it was the same.
UAB
game
sure
plan.
didn't really have a problem with it. FAU didn't really have a problem with it.
I think the UAB game, I don't remember them having the ball as long, but I don't follow them that closely.
I mean, it's 56-35, which really, like, you really should have won this game by 3 scores. And I've got to stop. I don't know why I continue to do it. I continue to bet on us to cover. And I know every time it's going to be a backdoor cover by the other team. Every time.
Just tease it up. The other team +7 every time. I think I'm undefeated.
That's
the
not
other
as
team
fun.
+7.
It's more fun to tease us up, and then we blow them out, and I get paid. And we got up 17, 59-42. That should be your final score. There's a minute left. Literally gave up. The only person rushing was Andres Fox looking to nut punch somebody in the backfield.
Well, that one play, I think he had just come on the field or perhaps moved from weak side to strong, or from strong side to weak side. And I think he was the only person that ran. Like everybody else just kind of dropped back, and he even had like no clue what he was supposed to be. It seemed like.
Anyway, from like the 6.5 minute mark of the third, was it the third that was their touchdown to go up 42-38? Is that right? The defense turned it around pretty significantly from that point forward.
Yeah.
I mean, their next drive, you forced a turnover. You got the interception from Simeon Blair in the back of the end zone. Forced them to punt. Then 3 turnover on downs in a row on their next 3 possessions from South Florida before you give up that late end of game meaningless touchdown.
Yeah.
Well, meaningless to some, but not to me.
You know, Simeon Blair has played 34 games at Arkansas and never had an interception.
That is truly, truly baffling.
He already has 2 in 9 games here.
Yeah.
It's like I know there was that stat, I think it was last year, where he was like the worst defender in
secondary
coverage.
player in the universe. Yeah.
I kind of feel like that was just like a scheme thing.
You may be right.
Like you can't sit here
He
and
certainly does not look like one of the worst defensive backs in the country to me.
Absolutely not. It's funny because like our DBs played both like relatively horrific and decently well at the same time. Like I think Simeon had a good game. Not Chandler Martin. Chandler Martin did have a good game, but
Chandler Martin always has
every
a good
game.
game.
Cameron
I
Smith,
couldn't be more excited
I thought Cam
about.
Smith had
He
a
did.
really good game.
Yeah.
Y'all know who came in and had a good game too? Tyron Taylor.
Yeah,
I saw him.
yeah. He set up that. I think he was the one that
He had a pass breakup in the end zone.
a batted pass.
And then he had, was he a part of another interception?
Yeah, the Simeon Blair interception. I
That's
think
what it
is
was. Yeah.
Well,
He was covering the guy that they were
he was
throwing
tackling the guy they were throwing to.
Well, hey.
to. Hey, was a flag thrown?
It wasn't. I'm just saying.
But
They got that call all day long. They got pass interference called left and right for no reason. It was pathetic.
It's probably a little too late in the year to do something about it now, but I'd be super curious if they would be interested or consider moving Simeon to that star position where Davian Ross played, and then having like
and I mean we hadn't talked. Coffee was helped off the field, so that was your backup star player. So now it's like who falls into the star role?
Who's been playing that? Has it been Coffee?
It's been Coffee.
Yeah, it was Davion Ross. Then Coffee took over. He was the or backup for Ross. And
that's
I haven't heard anything about Coffee this week after that, but he certainly did not. I mean, it didn't look good when he was coming off the field.
I think there's a logical reason. Granted, it'd be really tough to do that now, especially since Simeon really hasn't probably gotten a lot of run at the star, but he's thicker. He's bigger. He's a good tackler. I think he would play really well at the star, considering how important that position is here. You have Cam back deep. You have Ruben, assuming he can come back healthy. You've got him back there. I know Tyron has probably been playing more corner than he has safety, but I think you have enough guys to kind of make it worth your while to consider it. But
I might be wrong on this, but is this the first game we've seen Tyron all year?
no, he came in 2 games ago.
At DB?
Yeah, he came in Tulane in the membrane, I believe.
Really?
Yeah,
I
it wasn't
missed
for
that.
long. I think they were just rotating new DBs and stuff like that in.
Yeah.
So
Interesting.
now I've been kind of wondering where he is. I mean, he is a long-bodied defender, so it's just kind of shocking that we haven't seen him yet.
TJ.
Trey,
I mean, the biggest thing that we have not touched upon yet from Saturday.
Uh-oh.
biggest thing we haven't touched on.
Come on.
I don't know where you're
What?
going with this, but go ahead.
Tevin's freaking QB rating of 651.4.
Gridiron Penny, baby.
Are you serious? Is that the longest play from scrimmage the last 4 years?
I mean, it's pretty good.
It's not.
No, it's definitely not.
Taj had that like 95-yard screen pass tutty at Cincy.
No, I don't think it was actually the longest. It's pretty damn good.
I think
for
it was
your first
80
play, though.
85. I think is the longest this season.
I don't want to take anything away from him. He made the right read, but I'm going to put about 99% of that effort on Rock.
Oh, it was Rock making the DB miss and then taking off for
Yeah.
sure. But yeah, he made the
Big
read.
body scooting.
It was RPO. He made the read.
You got to
threw
make
the
the right
ball.
read. Cam Miller, by the way, that just came to me, he's the star. Cameron Miller, the transfer from Tennessee.
Third on
Yeah,
the
I think that's who's been working there.
Okay.
No, I mean, look, I think Trey and I are both in the same mindset. I think. I don't want to talk for him here.
I mean, I don't know what you're about to say, so
well, we'll kind of take this. Anything else with USF before we kind of move forward?
no, I mean, you got the dub. You put up 59. It was exciting and stressful all in one.
Oh, yeah. Fun.
But you win. You just keep winning.
Yeah.
You keep winning, good things will happen. I believe
That's
it.
all you can ask for, man. Just to keep winning.
Now, if you keep winning and then UTSA beats Tulane, maybe not all the good things possible will happen, but you just do what you can do, and that's win.
Yeah.
All right, now what are you saying that I think just like you, and I have no idea what you're about to
Well,
say?
I was going to segue into Charlotte. We have Charlotte this weekend.
We do.
And I don't think we're going to have everyone we want to have.
I do not think so. So those of you who have been calling to see Tevin and may have gotten louder after that one 10-yard out ball that he threw that turned into an 85-yard touchdown, you might get to see a whole lot of Tevin on Saturday. I mean, there's not been one word one way or the other.
No.
And I know there's a picture floating around at the 2 Deep for this week that's got Seth listed as or with Tevin, which is a new development. That's never been there. The ors with Sutton, Brandon Thomas, and Blake have been there all year. That's nothing new. So I don't know if we'll see Blake or not. I know he got taken out as well. But this feels like 2 years ago, UCF game.
Mm-hmm.
You have a big game with a ranked SMU squad the following week. I think they feel like, and honestly, you should. Charlotte is not good. I feel like we go through this every single week now, but you should be fine with Tevin playing and be able to get out with that and give Seth an extra week to get prepped, get healed, ready to go for SMU. I don't think we see Seth on Saturday.
Yeah, I definitely don't think we'll see Seth.
Even if he feels fine, I don't think it's something
why
to
play?
risk
I mean,
at this point.
with all due respect to Charlotte, like why play Seth? You know that Tevin's good. Tevin's in all the same meetings. You can run the same plays. It's not like Seth has this rocket for an arm and that Tevin has a noodle arm. It's perhaps not the other way around. Seth has deep ball, but if you've seen Tevin throw it, like
I mean, the only
it's a
concern
howitzer.
that I would have, and we've seen it a couple times, spring games, spring practices, is taking care of the rock. I mean,
The person?
I don't think he will be there. I don't think he has allegiance to either Memphis or Charlotte, but the football.
I meant the Rock Taylor. He would.
Take care of him.
Yeah, take care of him.
I thought you meant the Rock. Yeah.
That one?
Can
No.
you smell? Here we go. Can you smell them?
I don't want to do it.
Turnovers, though.
Yeah.
I don't think you can go into Charlotte, turn the ball over 4 times, throw 3 picks and a fumble, and come out with a dub. I mean, you could. It's going to be tough. I don't know. I don't think you're supposed to smell it this many times in one night. That's going to
Why
sound
is it
really,
so-
really good on the audio.
I know. I'm sorry, Kenneth. I'm a glutton for punishment, it seems. No. I mean, Charlotte is UAB to me. So similar.
With a much, much worse offense, though.
Well, I think that we did not get a fair shake of UAB. They didn't have their quarterback. We saw 16 other quarterbacks.
It didn't matter. Every quarterback they had looked like a Heisman candidate
Well, that doesn't change
for a half.
That's not going to technically change with Charlotte. They have a guy. I think he's beat up, Jalen Jones. He's kind of dog water at throwing the ball, but he is a very electric runner, and I think he's beat up. So I'm not sure how that'll work in. But their passing quarterback Ivy, not really that great of a passer. I mean, if you look at the stats, I mean, there's nothing impressive about it. We're talking about equal touchdown to interception ratio, or sometimes even more interceptions than touchdown. But they definitely pound the rock. They run the ball. They focus on the run, control the clock.
A guy doesn't even have 1,000 yards passing.
Which one, Ivy or Jones?
Ivy. Well, neither one of them.
Yeah, neither one of them. But it's splitting guys, so I'm not.
I mean, they've got 6 tutties thrown and 8 interceptions combined.
Yeah, they're low completion guys too. I think that's something to focus on. Like, I'm not too worried.
Jalen Jones will run that rock, though.
Yes, he's a very good runner. But I think he's beat up. I'm not sure he'll be back yet. But now that I say that, they'll probably bring him back because I said not to.
Memphis defense isn't mobile quarterbacks. What can you do?
That's most
It's our
defenses.
kryptonite, no matter who the coaching staff is.
That's most defenses, man.
They're scoring 16.8 points a game. That's not real good, Timothy.
No.
They struggle offensively.
Yeah, I think the question here, honestly, is how does your offense look with Tevin at the helm, assuming it's Tevin?
And potentially no Blake. I mean, we don't know what's there, but I think BT's fine.
Yeah, I think he'll be
split
fine.
up of Sutton and BT. You'll be fine.
Yeah, I think he'll be fine there. I'm not too worried about that. I just want to see them be able to build off this last week's performance. Huge, big plays from the receivers.
I mean, that's going to be a lot to
consistent
live up
running
to
game.
for Tevin with 2 of 2 for whatever, 92
Yeah.
yards and a tutty.
Well, you got to think if you're Charlotte, and I imagine I'm not saying anything groundbreaking here. You've got a quarterback starting for the first time. You're just going to blitz him. You're going to send everything you got at him. And if it's ever a situation where Tevin's got Rock or Demir or Skates or Dove, whomever it may, Kobe, whoever it is in this one-on-one situation, it's not going to be the fact that he's running for his life and doesn't have the arm strength or something like that to get him there. He has all the physical talents to get the ball. It's can he read those defenses and find that open guy, right? And when you're running for your life, you kind of tend to get tunnel vision. So it's going to be interesting. I mean, it's like truly the maturation of a young quarterback.
They got a decent little defense over there.
Yeah, they're talented. A lot of those guys are big transfers.
They're fourth. Well, yeah, tied for fourth in points allowed at 24.8 with East Carolina in the conference, and then third, right behind SMU and Tulane. They only give up 350 yards of offense in a game.
Okay.
The line opened at 12.5. I want to say, I think as of this afternoon, and I don't know if this is an indication one way or the other, but I think it was down to 9, which would lead one to believe that.
Yeah, I think that
9.5. Those in Vegas are not thinking Seth will be available, which
or
is what we've
perhaps
both said.
You see the trend of Memphis not covering.
Well, I figured it just opened up at 9.5 then.
It's fair. It's fair.
Winning by 10 on the road in Charlotte.
Anything else?
Is that doable? What's FPI got it at?
No clue, Bob. You looking it up?
They're actually winners of 2 of their last 3, both on the road. 80.5% chance for the Tigs to pull out the dub. And, line sitting at 9.5 with an over under of 51.5.
Yeah, I think Tulsa smashed them on the ground
And
this last week.
Charlotte smashed them in the W column because they pulled out the
Yeah,
dub.
I was more so saying that, like, in the sense that I'm curious if that's going to be the Tigers' ground, like that's going to be where they're going with this, right? Is this
Watkins for Tulsa had 24 carries, 146 yards in a TUD. Yeah. They did not throw the ball at all. You were correct in that. 6 completions for 74 yards from Tulsa QB.
I mean,
Ivy had a good little game throwing the ball for Charlotte. 20 of 36 for 277 in a TUD.
Is that the highest game of his career?
I would assume so. That is basically a third of his entire season.
Yeah, exactly.
Passing yards.
He doesn't seem. I mean, here I am. Famous final words
4th.
Of. It doesn't seem that good. You know, probably gonna smoke us now because I said that. But
yeah, 2 weeks ago against FAU, he had 68 passing yards. He had a big night, 3 of 9 for 22 yards against Florida.
I listened to a podcast.
They played Florida?
Yes, that's actually where I was going with this. I listened to a podcast about
lost 22-7.
The Charlotte's coaching staff. It was basically who was having it. It was like a post game presser or something like that, and they were saying that Jeff Canton-Arku and Chandler Martin are going to be the best linebackers that they'll face all year outside of Florida. And I think that's pretty good praise. I mean, they took on Maryland early in the year.
He's the best linebacker they're ever going to face.
Chandler Martin?
I mean, ever. He's only a sophomore, TJ.
It's bold praise. Hey, they did something.
He's so damn good.
They did something that we haven't been able to do, and that's beat ECU. Granted, different team, different times.
Speaking of ECU, gosh, they almost pulled it off. They almost beat Tulane. 13-10 ball game.
Make it make sense. That would have been incredible for us, I think. But
it would have been great.
As long as it's not UTSA.
I want to host. And in order for that to happen, you need Tulane to lose twice.
I think you may have lost that option.
I know.
Who else?
Well, they play UTSA. I think that's really their only competition left.
Yeah.
Let's see.
It's not like they've just been world beaters.
They got Tulsa this week at home. They should win that. At FAU next week. I mean, they could.
Do you think Tulane fans are sitting back like pissed off that their team just keeps winning, even though it's not by a lot when it should be by more?
I don't think they're pissed off about anything because they're coming off of a Cotton Bowl victory, and they're sitting at 7-1 or 8-1. I don't think they have a whole lot to be pissed off about.
Is that much different than coming off you're being 7-2?
Coming off what though?
You're 7-2.
Coming off what though?
Looking much better than you have the last 2 years.
TJ,
quit living in the past, my guy.
Do something for me.
We're trying to right now. You know?
I guess.
They're 8-1, by the way.
I know, I corrected it. Get with it. Your headphones working?
I guess they did have a 10-point win versus us. I guess that's a pretty decent
That's
size
so
win.
Disgusting. They shouldn't have won that game.
I
You were up
agree.
21-10.
I agree. Very beatable.
If we could only take that back, if you could have just beaten Tulane, you basically would probably be guaranteed to be in the conference championship.
No,
Even with the loss to SMU, you'd be in it.
I think that's fair.
I hate the pressure. I'm nervous. I'm going to be honest. I'm overlooking this. I know it's going to probably be nerve-wracking and closer than it should be, but I'm overlooking it. I'm nervous about next week already. You know what else I'm nervous about? Friday at Missouri. So we'll come back. We're going to talk about that and what happened last night inside FedEx Forum.
What a second.
We'll be right back.
Just taking off of, I don't even want to talk about the players first. Just taking off of Penny Hardaway coach team's track record. They typically, historically, play up to competition. whether they're the inferior team or not. And we've seen that throughout the last couple of years. And honestly, that's been a pretty hard critique on his teams, is that they kind of leave a little bit to be desired against inferior opponents at times, and then they know when to step up under the lights. This team, with how much experience and age that they have, and knowing the goal that they came here for, and knowing the conference that they play in, quality opponents.
This is that first opportunity to boost that resume so I can get to a tournament in my final year of eligibility for a lot of these guys.
Yes. So this could be a tipping point for what the non-conference schedule could be.
Right.
And I just feel like with a team with this many experienced veteran guys, they understand what's in front of them.
Tune in to On the Bluff with Christian Fowler and Gabe Kuhn every Tuesday at 12 p.m. on the Bluff City Media YouTube channel.
We need front court depth, right? I would say Jaron and Tillman, we're fine with those two. We just need some front court depth. I think Jaron and Tillman could be your starters. Man, the hell with that, man. Like, I'm looking at this one game of Bismack Biyombo, and I'm like, all right, bro, like, just give me more Bismack. Like, I want that Jaron Jackson Jr. Bismack Biyombo front line look very good. This organization has never had a rim protector, like a high-level rim protector before Jaron Jackson Jr.
Right.
And now you got two of them in Jaron Jackson Jr. and Bismack Biyombo.
All right, let's go with it. Now, it was just one, so we got to, clarify. It was just one game. You got to find out, see a little bit more consistently, but, if he just do anything close to that game, you're fine, and that helps the front court depth anyway, because now Tillman, if you do make this switch, either or, you still got depth at the center position that you didn't have the first 5 games of the season after the Steve Adams injury got announced.
Tune in to The Anthony Sane Show Wednesdays and Fridays at 12 p.m. weekly on the Bluff City Media YouTube channel. Bluff City Media and Bluff City NIL are proud partners of Coaching for Literacy, a Memphis nonprofit using the power of sports to impact childhood literacy. When you donate to Bluff City NIL through Coaching for Literacy, your gift is 100% tax deductible. This partnership is a win-win-win. Tiger student athletes win in the NIL landscape. Coaching for Literacy wins by engaging.
We're back. We forgot 2 things, Timothy. 2 very, 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 very important things. 1, fallback sucks.
Yeah. Especially if you have little kids. If anyone has little kids, they know what we're talking about, because you've got to
kids,
retrain
no
them.
kids, it sucks. 5 p.m.
cycles.
being dark is so lame.
I'm going to be honest. At 5 o'clock, I am home from work, home from picking the kids up from daycare. We're starting on dinner. I don't even look outside anymore.
Interesting. But you're so tan.
You're so tan. You know why you hate it, Trey? It's because you don't get any sun.
Have you been outside this entire year?
When's the last time you went outside?
I'm going to fight both of you. And he's got this damn freaking vanity light in my face. It's making me look pale.
When did you
And
do?
it's this shirt my
when
mom
did you
made
do?
me wear.
When did you do chest paint? When did you decide to do chest paint?
Kenny's stealing my jokes.
I
I
am.
said these things.
I am.
The second thing, Timothy, we didn't pick scores for the Charlotte game, so let's go ahead. 51.5. Tigers favored by 10. I'm going to say 31-21. Was that what you're about to say?
34-21.
Oh,
I mean, it's not a shock.
they're
going to
score 21 points.
Yeah.
Well, I think the issue is that they're going to have that mobile quarterback. I'm planning for them
You
to
just
have
said
the
he
mobile
wasn't.
quarterback.
You just said he wasn't playing.
I don't know if he's playing. That's what I said the entire time. I don't know if he's going to play, but Biff Poggi thinks that he needs to play 15 quarterback. So I'm not
Shout
writing
out
it
to
off.
Biffy. All right, what did you say, 34-21?
34-21.
31-21. I'm sticking with it. All right, we're in basketball season. Tej and I were in, and Kenneth, all
All
three.
three of us were there, man.
Bluff City Media rolling deep in the form last night. part of the 11th thou in the build.
And let's just say FaceTime does not work in the FedEx Forum.
I FaceTimed Kenny 5 times yesterday. Didn't answer any of them.
You see him look down at his watch. He's like, "Oh, it's Trey, never mind."
Hey, exactly.
Glad I didn't need something important. Tiggs, 94-77 win over Jackson State. They got a good little, Mo Williams got a good little basketball team down there in Jackson.
Yeah, what was
I think they're picked to win the SWAC. They look like it. Also, they supposedly, who knows, Willow's wrong on some things, the only college basketball team in the nation to not lose a player to the transfer portal this past year.
Well, it was reported that before the game too. Yeah.
Wow,
That's wild.
that is wild.
That is, and very, very impressive.
Impressive, definitely. Was it you that was looking at Jackson State on Ken Palm, or was that Jonathan?
It was probably both of us, but what do you need to know?
I think it was something like Jackson State. They're supposed to like do terribly, even though they're going to win the SWAC.
Well, they were picked to win the SWAC.
Yeah, there was like the Ken Palm projections weren't looking good for them. But like, if you watch that team yesterday, this is not a Jackson State podcast, but I definitely think that they were better than I think anyone expected them to be.
Oh, you're talking. So Ken Palm has them losing basically every non-conference game. But looking at it, starting with Alcorn State on January the 6th to kick off the SWAC conference,
It's like 15 straight.
I mean, there's a lot of dubs on here.
Yeah.
It does have them losing to Alcorn at Alcorn on the 24th and then losing at Texas Southern.
When is that first game? That first conference game for them?
January the 6th.
Did you know that did they not play?
I saw this.
They don't play a home game until
for
January.
2 months.
No, they were talking about it. Their entire non-con is gone. Nowhere. They're not in Jackson.
Wow.
They play Memphis. They go to San Diego tomorrow night.
Yeah.
So tonight, when you guys listen to this, Cal Baptist, Loyola Marymount, Tulsa, Missouri, Georgetown,
bananas,
Arkansas
dude.
State, Houston, Howard, North Carolina A&T, at Gonzaga, Northwestern, and then they play their first home game on Saturday, January the 6th.
That's miserable.
Yeah, but you got to think that's
But
like
they're getting bank for
yeah.
that, aren't they?
That's you got to work like that to get those payrolls because the school probably just doesn't have.
I think for like the first couple of games, that's probably fun, but as a player, that's got to be
Yeah, it's got to be miserable.
Draining.
How does that work for your schooling? We're talking about student athletes here. Anyway,
getting it done on the
on a
plains.
JSU podcast, I do agree that they were much better than I thought. What's the first thing that stood out? Just think of the game. First thing that stood out comes to your head. Boom, go.
We have more capable shooters on this team than we've had in a while.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I'm not like, I don't know that we have one that is like flat out just dead eye,
Man, too.
but you've got 5 or 6 that can come out and hit 2 threes every night.
I don't know. For a second there, Jaquan did not look like he planned on missing.
Well, David Jones' second half looked like he didn't plan on missing. I mean, Nick Jourdain's knocking down balls. Jonathan Pierre threw one in there.
I don't know if this is going to make sense, but they looked more like a team than previous Penny teams. Does that make sense, what I'm saying?
As far as playing together.
Well, yeah, like,
Or roles, defined roles.
yeah, like
I mean,
last
especially,
year,
I would, yes.
was
They
it-
had 21 assists last night. This early in the year, for sure.
Well,
I
just-
think you come second half of the season, every Penny team to date has looked like a team playing
Yeah.
together, roles defined. But to the point, it's taken a chunk of the season to get to that point. Speaking of defined roles, what were your thoughts on the starting 5 change?
That's weird.
Kenny says it's weird. I don't.
Do you think they roll that out against Missouri again? Or was that like a one-time, hey, let's try to light a fire under Caleb and Jordan Brown?
I don't know what the issue is with Caleb. Was it a situation where maybe he's just not 100%, like he doesn't have the conditioning?
Penny said after Loyola or after Lemoyne, they needed a spark. They needed more energy in the first 5. I guess he thinks Caleb and Jordan weren't bringing energy.
I'll tell you what, I watched Jourdain and I only see energy. That's what the dude gives you. He is an absolute motor. We saw him working last night. Put back. Well, I guess it wasn't really a put back, but he got the rebound and put it right back up. I mean,
That
he
would
made
be a
the
putback.
three. Well, I think when people hear putback, you think it's a dunk.
It wasn't a tip in.
Yeah, I just want to specify. Really kind of, I think, may have been you, may have been our buddy Jonathan. Someone said he is this year's, help me out, grad senior. Elijah Martin. Or, no,
McAdden.
thank you. It's Elijah Martin, the FAU guy.
That's okay.
Yeah, I think he very much so fits that role. I mean, he's a guy that he's not going to come in and put up a ton of points, but he does all the
But he
dirty
knows
work
what
that
he
you
needs
need. Exactly.
to do, and he does it.
Yeah. I think
Well,
you need that.
One game in. Other thing, first 10 minutes were sloppy as hell. Now, were they nervous because they knew that Anthony Penny Hardaway was watching them on the television? Probably.
Yes.
But they settled in, and after that first 10 minutes, they only had 6 the rest of the way.
6 what?
Turnovers.
Oh.
But at first, it felt like, oh no, here we go again.
Yeah.
But I mean, and we talked about that with Jonathan too. Is like, and it's the pace, the tempo that they're trying to play.
Sure.
And believe it or not, you know where after one night of collegiate basketball, the Memphis Tigers rank tempo wise in the country? Well, if you guess first, you're right.
I was
They
going to say
rank
top
first.
10 was
They
my
are
safe
number
guess.
1 in the country in adjusted tempo after one game.
What does that mean? Adjusted tempo.
That's how many possessions they're getting in a game. We had 82 possessions last night. Or I think it's average length of the possession, which results in more possessions. We had 82. We're averaging, I guess. We had 82 last night, so based on their calculation, 82.3 is kind of what they're predicting. The next closest was Houston Christian at 81.
You got to love those stats after game 1.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
It's kind of like when the Memphis Tigers were number 1 in the country in defense after game 1.
Looked legit for a bit there, man.
Oh, they've it's changed now. I guess more games have been played. Although Jackson State's up there, obviously, because as many possessions we get, they get. Anyway, a result of that is, I think, nerves, jitters, first game, and just how quickly they're trying to play at times.
Yeah, I think it's definitely the tempo. And I know Penny loves the tempo. It kind of bothers me at times. You know, we've talked about it. I think it kind of incites like kind of a lack of rebounding at times. I know you guys made fun
Well,
of me
sometimes I
last
think
week
it
about
gets
that, but
you go from trying to play fast or quick to playing rushed, and that's where you start seeing
you see
some of
rush
the-
passes that are
Right.
easily getting jumped. You're
There's a
throwing your
difference in
passing
playing
lanes.
fast and playing rushed.
Yeah. And I think that's probably a common thing amongst any team that probably plays fast. I think if we were to look back, let's say at last year, look at the teams that play with the fastest tempo, look at their turnovers, they're probably just going to be high. I think that's, unless they're just a hell of a efficient team. I just don't see that.
I mean, they turned it down. I think they'll
They
get
did
better.
turn it down. I do think that that's what you get from JQ. I think that he is pretty safe with the ball for the most part.
I mean, last night it was
There were some
Walton.
errant
It was
passes.
Walton and Jones.
Yeah.
They had 10 of the 16 between them.
Yeah, Jones definitely had a couple cold spells for a bit.
Jones's turnovers were more glaring because they were at half court.
Dude, it looked like I'm not joking. I played basketball my whole life. My biggest weakness was ball handling. If you put any pressure on me, I was turning the ball. It looked like I was David Jones out there.
He did look like he was not comfortable dribbling, which is kind of wild considering at St. John's, like he did all the dribbling. Like he did everything for them. So just
Probably at a slower pace.
probably.
I mean, there's a few turnovers he had, kind of trying to move before he caught the ball.
Right.
Kind of deal. Some
Right.
skip passes that he missed.
Yeah.
I think Trey hit it right on the head. They just felt, David especially in that first 10 minutes, felt rushed. Like he felt like, maybe he's trying to one up Jaquan's attempted dunk on the first play of the game. You know what I'm saying? Like just kind of I got to make something happen
what an
right now.
exclamation point that would have been to start the season. Our first official basket of the season would
Detonation
have
on
been just
someone's head.
Like, do you have the dunk of
putting some dude on the poster.
Is the dunk of the year case already closed if he hits that in the first play of the season?
I mean, it's right now it's
A lot of
number one.
basketball to be
But
played,
You got a
though,
lot. You got a lot of hoops left. What stuck out to you? I know what it's probably going to be.
I don't know.
Rebounding.
Yeah,
I don't know.
get out there. You know you want to say it.
Jackson State.
It generally worried me, but I've said it. I think the playing fast kind of puts you in a weaker point to rebound. You were on average 5 inches taller than everybody else on the court, and they out rebounded you. Now, is that effort? Is that being in bad positioning? Is it the pace? A combination? I don't know. It's just one game as well. I'm just gonna throw that out there.
Yeah, I mean, I know you got out rebounded. What did it end up being?
It was like a couple. It was like 30.
They had 37 to our 34. It didn't feel like I wasn't sitting there. It didn't feel like one of those Houston games where they're just like getting every offensive board.
Yeah, it's
or
completely
anything like that, right? Like it didn't feel like you're getting beat on the glass. It is concerning to your point, given that their tallest player at times on the court was a good 5-6 inches than anybody we had out there. I'm not gonna freak out about it just yet.
Sure.
But it's definitely something to keep an eye on.
Yeah, I think taking a look at the Missouri game.
Yeah.
If you get blown off the boards, obviously it's something to be.
Well,
concerned
Arkansas
about.
Dirk's not gonna be out there, so I'm not worried about that because he'd probably be snagging boards left and right. That 8'3" wingspan.
Yeah. It's gonna be hard to defend someone of that size. I feel like just. I'll say
Other little things, just a nitpick free throw shooting. You're not gonna be able to shoot 65%.
Well, yeah. Take two.
Like,
of those
I don't
away
think
from Noah.
you go to Columbia Friday and have 16 turnovers, shoot 65% from the free throw line, and come out with a dub. Maybe, but it's gonna be more difficult than it should be.
Sure. I like Jalen Young.
Man.
The energy he brings, dude. Just
Look.
that dog. That dog.
I'm sure multiple people have said it. I forget who Will, I think in the Discord mentioned, hey, this is what we've wanted Alo to be for the last 4 years. I'm like, what? Just 6'3"?
Couple inches taller.
They're the same person. I feel like it's
Yeah.
just Daquan or Jalen's a little bit more athletic and taller.
Yeah, he's Alo is built.
The steals and deflections he was getting felt very Alo.
Yeah.
Like that pickpocket from behind when the
Yeah.
dude had the ball sitting on his hip. That I mean, how many times did we see Alo do that?
Yeah.
The difference was that Jay Young absolutely tomahawked it, whereas Alo would have just done a nice little
layup.
left-handed layup.
There's a level of like calm and methodicalness that Jalen brought to that second unit that I thought really stuck out to me. Obviously, when you have JQ was getting most of his minutes alongside David Jones, and David was very clearly I don't want to take anything after one game and say this is something to look at to be concerned about. Mm-hmm. I would say to me, based upon the couple of games that I've seen, the one thing that I would say about David is he needs to rein it in a little bit in terms of shot selection, in terms of how he moves the ball. The ball tends to stop with him when he gets it. It stops, and then he just decides, I got to take over and make a move here. And sometimes that gets him into trouble, where you see some of those turnovers. And that's where JQ was getting most of his minutes. When Jalen was on the floor, it felt like the ball, as I've rewatched a lot of the video that I took from it, Jalen moved the ball in a way that felt like they were trying to do something with it, right? Like making a point, like they had a plan of action.
Yeah.
And that to me was encouraging, because I think Jalen provides a very, very strong backup point guard role.
Absolutely.
On
I
this team.
think he is going to be a perfect backup point guard this year.
It does exactly what you want.
10, 12, 14 minutes a night doing exactly what he did last night. Come in, hit a 3, 2 of 5. He had 5 points, 3 steals, 2 assists in 12 minutes.
I mean, even
Impacting the game in those 12 minutes, like, perfectly.
even if he comes in and just defends his ass off.
Yeah, which he will every time.
I mean, I take that
Yeah.
from a backup point guard.
100%.
You think about it with the previous Tiger teams, especially when Tyler Harris was on the team, you would always, like last year, if we took last year's team, we thought, okay, you got Kendrick, so maybe now Alex can move to the bench and be the backup point guard. And a majority of the time, you saw them playing together.
Yep. I mean,
And so-
shoot, the last 4 years we've had 2 sub-6 foot guards on the floor a lot together. And that puts a huge disadvantage defensively at times.
Yeah.
Are you guys coming out of that game questioning or even, look, you talked about defined roles earlier. Jalen Young has a defined role. JQ has a defined role. Malcolm, Jordan, you know what Jaquan's going to do. You know what David's going to do. You guys at all a little bit like, what's Caleb Mills' role on this team? What's he going to do? Is he going to be the back? Is he going to be the sixth man off the bench, the scoring punch off the bench, or is he going to come in and what's he going to do with that first team? Does that make sense? Like, do you guys have any questions about that?
Yeah, I mean, I think he would be the best sixth man in the nation if he accepted that role and was literally the go-to kind of with that second group. But I don't know that that's what's going to happen.
I look at it a little bit differently. I think I would rather him start because I think with a Jones or with a Jaquan, I think they have killer instinct and they can be that guy. They can be the sixth man or they can be the scorer coming off the bench. I don't know that Caleb Mills can. We've seen him be able to score for sure. I haven't seen it yet where he can just have that killer instinct and want to go straight at somebody's head and try to score, every basket basically when he's in.
That's a very good point.
That's why when you nerds were making fun of me about having David Jones
Which
come
is
off
so
the
weird
bench.
because I feel like when he was a freshman at Houston, he had that. And that's how he played.
Maybe it's the
against
time at
us
Florida State that's
specifically.
changed it. Like that's why I wanted David Jones to come off the bench because I know David Jones will come at somebody. David Jones will heat up. David Jones will take shots. And I'm afraid that Caleb Mills could be a bit timid if he is the bench role guy. I think he's going to be upset that
Well, he definitely wasn't happy about it. He said it.
I know. But I don't want to say I don't want it to be like a situation where I'm saying like he's upset that he's not going to be starting and so he's not going to give it his all. I don't want it to sound like that. I just don't think he has that same aggressive killer mentality that you get from a Jaquan or you get from a David Jones.
I'll be honest with you. I think, golly, and this is insinuating things that I don't know the ins and outs of this, but I would suspect that David would have more of a problem coming off the bench than Caleb would, in all honesty. Because I see the way that David moves on the court, the way he talks to, the way he carries himself. He wants to be the man on that team, not the sixth man on that team. He wants to be the man on the Tigers.
I mean, shoot.
Yeah, but
Jaquan was doing that same thing last night.
Yeah, but kind of at the same time, like I think Slick Rick said something about it. It's not necessarily the first five. They're going to take you deep into March. It's the next group of guys that kind of the end of that rotation that can be the difference makers because everyone's got a good set of five. But what teams have the 6, 7, 8, 9 guys? Who has those other 4 to 5 guys that can really solidify your bench? And so when your top guys are resting, what teams have that extra level of player in that second group? And I think if you could put in a Jaquan or a David Jones, like you've got that guy. You just got to get them to buy into it. And I guess it's the same mindset with Caleb Mills because we've seen him be able to be such a great scorer and an aggressive scorer. But it just even his time at Florida State and kind of even, it's only one game and a couple exhibitions, but we're not really that far in. But I just don't know if he has that,
It's interesting. I wonder, because I heard Jaquan at the game yesterday. He mentioned it so many times. He was just talking to himself on the bench, basically, and was just like, I just want to win. I just want to win. I just want to win. That to me feels like somebody that might have the mentality of, let me come off the bench in that six-man role and dominate and insert Caleb back into that second, that two-guard position on the front, the starting five. I don't know, though. I don't know.
Yeah.
Jaquan is that dude, though. Like,
Sure.
He certainly was last night. 17-4 in the first 10 minutes.
couldn't miss, man. Scored the first 11 points for the Tigers, I think, in the game.
Yeah. I don't know. That's a good problem to have. You got a lot of options.
Yeah, it is.
As long as it doesn't turn into too many mouths to feed. If you can
I don't
find a
think
way
it's
to
gonna-
balance it out, I think you've got
Yeah.
a good problem to have, essentially. You know?
Yeah.
Let me ask you this: do you think starting Malco, you think that sticks?
I think it depends who you play, probably. Like Jackson State had Malcolm on their roster. I mean, that dude was chiseled and jacked. I mean, he was Malcolm. And I think that
He was huge.
I think that Malco can bang with that dude a little bit more than Jordan Brown. Not to say Jordan Brown can't, but Brown comes off as more finesse guy, right? You see Brown with post moves. Brown will play you to his left just to spin back right and have a wide open shot at the basket. And I not to say Malcolm doesn't have that. It's just Malcolm looks for brute force and backing a guy kind of down, whereas Jordan is more finesse, in my opinion. Just kind of what I've seen so far.
I don't know. I mean, they both played well.
Who's Mizzou got at center?
Connor Vanover.
No, I thought you said wasn't playing.
Well, he's not playing. I don't know who will play center for them tomorrow.
Okay.
Or Friday.
As long as he's not. I mean,
It's pretty interesting if you look at the numbers from the first game. I don't know who did Missouri play in the first game.
They played the Golden Lions out of Pine Bluff, Arkansas.
yes.
The numbers, the final numbers in terms of stats were almost identical to what the Tigers did, shooting wise. 3-point shooting. Overall field goal percentage.
Yeah.
Points allowed, points points scored. It's actually pretty interesting stuff.
I will say the glaring difference is that Mizzou shot 90% from free throws on 20 attempts.
Yeah.
That is a difference maker. They have a 7'2", 245 senior. Looks like a transfer from Cleveland State. That's a big body.
Man, they got some big boys over there.
Yeah, they got Caleb Brown. Kind of thought he was going pro, but he's back. I don't know if you've seen that dude. He is huge. Huge. Definitely thought he was an NBA guy, but he came back.
You're talking about Kobe Brown? Because he did go to the NBA.
No.
He played for Missouri.
Do they have two?
Yeah. They have Caleb Brown, but I think Kobe's...
Kobe Brown is what I was talking about.
Yeah, he's gone.
What?
He went to the NBA.
That's with me.
They currently have Caleb Brown.
Dude, hold on.
I mean, he's a big dude too, 6'7", 250.
Yeah, I looked at their roster earlier, and I think I saw the body and was like, oh, that's just Kobe. But I thought he came back.
But Caleb played 11 minutes last night and didn't score a point, had 2 turnovers, 2 fouls.
Wow. If they have Kobe Brown, he's good.
No, he's gone. He is gone. They had a big night last night. Had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Matched us. 5 guys dubbed Figs. Leading scorer, Shawnee's the second senior out of Louisville, Kentucky. I think he spent has he been at Mizzou his whole career? No, UMass, then Bradley, then Missouri. So,
Yeah.
good little guard. It'll be interesting. It's going to be a raucous crowd. I think they're saying it's the biggest sports weekend in Columbia, Missouri history. They got a big game with Memphis on Friday evening, and then they host the Tennessee Volunteers in a football match on Saturday. So a pretty hostile environment we're going into because you know damn well that those visiting Tennessee fans are going to go in to Mizzou Arena on Friday night, and you're going to have Tennessee and Missouri fans rooting against us.
Yeah.
100%.
It is what it is, dude.
I mean, how many SEC chants do you think there are going to be? It's so lame cheering
lame.
for a conference.
I don't get it, dude.
It's disgusting. No line available yet. I didn't realize Mizzou Arena was that big. Holds 15K in that, John. I've been. It's a nice arena.
Off the top of your head, what do you think the line's going to be?
I think it's probably going to be close to a pick 'em, but if I had to guess, I'm going to say just from home favorites.
I was going to say Mizzou
that
5.5.
5. I was going to say like Mizzou 2.5.
I think it's home.
Ken Palm's got it as an 81-80 ball game, 50-50, with Missouri getting the edge because of it being at home.
Okay.
Real toss-up. They are 56th currently in Ken Palm. We're 34th. Offense efficiency-wise, they are 27th. We're 26th, so very similar.
Sure.
Defensively, they are 91st, and we're 44th. So a little bit better defensively than Missouri. But
I did not know Missouri has Tamar Bates on their team.
I didn't either because I don't even know who that is.
Played for Indiana, I think started at Texas and then went to Indiana, and now he's at
transferred from Indiana to Mizzou.
yeah, he's a lefty guard, can shoot pretty well.
Wow, Konzo Martin's really putting together a squad over there.
Oh, Kwanzo.
I'm just trying to think of a random Mizzou coach off the top of my head.
All right, Timothy, what else you got for Missouri? Anything?
I don't think I have anything. How
important is this
Yeah.
game? I'm going to say pretty important. I'm going to be honest with you. This feels like a game that we would lose in previous years, and I don't know that you can afford to do that, especially with Vandy falling to Presbyterian. Is that who they lost to today, this evening, Kenneth?
Yes, it is. They lost by 11.
And then VCU losing to McNeese at home last night. Your non-con,
Will Wade, man.
he wasn't even there, so
Going
that's
down.
impressive. Is not looking great already. Just 24 hours into the collegiate basketball season. I mean, I'm not going to say it's must win, but you need to win it. It's not must win, it's need to win.
I was going to originally ask how important is that win, but then I wanted to change it to which win is the
I mean,
most
look, I
important
don't think
to win.
losing a
Which game is
basketball game on November the 10th is going to come back and be that big of a deal. But given what we're already seeing out of some of the future opponents, like on the road at Missouri, it could end up being a quality win, and those are going to be few and far between once you get into January.
Well, that's kind of why I asked if I was going to ask why it was the biggest game, because it's a true road game. You know, you have Missouri, potentially Michigan, potentially Arkansas neutral site games in the battle for Atlantis.
Yeah.
Look at the rest of the schedule. At Texas A&M is a good team. They're very good, but is that as good as a win against Mizzou?
Top
I think
15
it
in
would
the
be
country.
better.
Yeah, they're better.
I mean, it's hard to say now because it could be something similar as last year, right? Where A&M came in, they were supposed to be top 25. They went. I mean, they ended up being fine at the end of the year, but they started the year off rough.
it ended up being the best win on the Tigers' schedule last year,
Yeah, it did. But at the time,
outside of the Houston game.
when you initially played them and they were supposed to be top 25 to start the year, it wasn't, because I think they were like 6-5 or something when they came.
Yeah.
They kind of hit a little took a little bit for them to get going. I want to win it again. November the 10th, second game without Penny. I don't think it's going to kill you, but it's definitely a nice to have for sure.
And we openly agree, all three of us, it doesn't matter. Do you think having Penny or not having Penny sways the game in one way or the other?
I think it does.
I think that it potentially could. I'm not going to sit here and say for sure that it will.
I mentioned this on the Bluff podcast earlier. Mm-hmm. I think where you see Penny's absence or where you feel it is on the defensive side of the court for the Tigers.
You don't think Faraji has anything to do with that? Isn't he a big defensive guy too?
No, he is, but I mean, when you see Penny coaching on the sideline, he is actively more involved in coaching and guiding on the defensive side than he is on the offensive side.
Yeah.
That's his calling card, man. I really do feel like even some of those like runs to the basket that Jackson State got on Memphis would probably be schemed and adjusted very quickly with Penny out there. I feel that I might be wrong.
I can see that for sure.
I might be wrong, but that's what I feel like. I think offensively, I don't think the Tigers have any worries.
I don't either. I mean, you've put up 100, 194 in your first three times out.
I think
dudes
defensively,
all over the court that can score at any given time and put the ball in the basket. So I don't think there's going to be any issue offensively at all.
Only thing that I think that potentially may come back to kind of bite us, as we did kind of struggle against Jackson State in zone last night. And I'm pretty sure Mizzou runs zone, albeit like a different zone. Just how that comes back and plays against it. Like, are we just going to be a bad
you've got 6-7 guys that
what?
can knock down threes?
Yeah, Coach Stansberry talked about that specifically in the post game yesterday. He goes, I really do feel like Memphis is going to be a very difficult team to zone against this year because not just because of their shooters, but because
how fast they're trying to play.
How fast they try to play. They try to beat the zone by their tempo.
Guys out of position.
And then number two, there's three things he said: the tempo, the shooters, and then Jordan Brown. They really feel like Jordan Brown is
attack inside
a zone buster. Like they just feel like, okay, zone us to make us move the ball a lot, and that gets Jordan on some awesome angles in the paint. And so they specifically said that, he said that, and he specifically said, I really feel like we're going to be a tough team to zone against. He said last night, it's crazy to me, they didn't install a zone offense until shoot around that day. Because he's like, we don't run zone at Memphis, so we don't practice running zone.
Yeah.
Facing a zone.
Well, they don't practice offense.
Yeah, well, that was the flashback to 3 years ago.
All right. Anything else, Mizzou?
No, you want to give a score prediction?
That's tough.
It is so tough. I actually am. The fact that they shot so, we're basing it off nothing.
One game.
Yeah, I mean, I think the difference is going to be free throws. Like, obviously, last night we shot a bajillion free throws compared to Jackson State, and we were not hitting them. So if you base it off anything you've got so far, I think it comes down to free throws, and I do honestly think it could be a Mizzou 5-point win. I know I said it at 5.5 as the spread earlier. That kind of feels right to me.
I think you're definitely the better team.
I know that's not a score. Sorry.
No, I mean, picking a basketball score is so tough.
Especially if there's not a line out yet.
Yeah.
Well, that would be really, really incredible to pick the exact basketball score. I don't know. I think that this Memphis team is very capable and they're good enough to go on the road and win, even if this is going to be like a huge crowd in Mizzou Arena.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Maybe it's just my PTSD from these kinds of things. I just feel like it's a loss too.
Here's the thing.
But I'm not picking a loss. Takes by 10.
By 10?
Oh, yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Stand on that shit. Yes, sir.
That's the thing. I mean, we have nothing to go off of. Both teams played okay teams, I guess, right? I mean, it's so hard to tell. It'd be different if this was game 6 or, where you're playing Ole Miss in the schedule. Put Mizzou there. I think you have a general idea of where you're at.
Yeah.
So just a little different.
But all things considered, it's a big opportunity, so hopefully they come out with a dub.
Yeah. I think we're going to know a lot more about the Tigers after this game than we do right now.
Sure. Oh, 100%.
Sure.
100%. All right, Timothy, time for Thunder Picks. Fade. We are definitely back to Fade TJ. Because Tej, well, we both took an L, but Tej is on a little bit of an L streak here. Back to 5-5, 500.
Yeah.
Is this 4 straight weeks?
I think so.
Man, you were 5-1.
Yeah, he's lost 4 in a row to get back to 500.
And I was riding with you, bro.
It's okay. Jump back on the bandwagon. Last week I had
you're
Notre
500.
Dame.
That means Memphis football would beat you.
Last week I picked Notre Dame to cover by 3. They threw a pick 6 that really kind of turned the game around. This week I'm going to go with some action. I'm going Miami, Ohio, -17 versus Akron because Akron is dog water and they're also 0-5 on the road. No way you start winning now all of a sudden. Right?
That's true. We know all about teams that can't win on the road.
So true.
I took an L as well. My UNT +7.5 against UTSA lost by a whole half point. They lost by 8 at home.
It was close, though.
I'm sticking in the American this week.
Okay,
I don't know why. I'm a
listening.
big American football guy. Tulane is -23 against Tulsa this weekend. And that's a heck of a lot of points for a team that just won 13-10 against East Carolina, who is 1-8.
I mean, was Pratt playing?
Oh, yeah.
Their whole squad's playing. I don't know what the hell happened. This game also, strangely enough, is at 10 a.m. So I think Tulane's going to be a little bit sleepy. And Tulsa covers a 23.
Yeah, I mean, if you just look back to kind of further your point, I mean, Tulane only won by 10 against Memphis. I think it was a 7-point win versus North Texas. Rice was a 2-point win. ECU was a 3-point win. They're kind of
beat Rice by 2.
Yeah, Rice had a chance. It looked like it towards the end, but yeah, they've just not been doing well. Maybe they know something we don't. I haven't seen Tulane really put up those kind of points this year.
We should have won that. It was 30-28. I forgot about that.
Yeah, man.
It's so gross.
All right.
We needed them to lose. Okay, I don't know why DraftKings says 10. It's actually at 11 on ESPN2. I don't know what's going on.
DraftKings will tell me games are at 2:40 a.m. And
Well, it's got every other 11 o'clock game listed as 11, but for some reason that one's at 10. I don't know what's going on. Pick stands. We're moving to 7-3-1.
Hell yeah.
All right, let's get on this Thaddeus Young.
I'm
When did Grind City move to this can style?
Do what?
Like the white can with
Yeah.
these logos.
Well, I was trying to look at what I'm looking at here, and it says furnace.
drum switch,
switch.
proof of water.
I don't know. I'm going to show this, save the can and show it to Mab. See if Mab knows what the hell it is. I'm sure there's a valve in here he sold or something.
There's definitely valves. Yeah, I don't know. This is some kind of...
I don't know what's going on here. I'm going to be real honest with you. The can, not really doing it for me. I do like the kind of shiny matte. Like, that's kind of cool, but, like, it's not really doing it for me. I don't know what the hell's going on.
I agree with Kenny's take. It looks like an energy drink.
Really?
Not a beer can.
Looks like a Celsius can.
I don't know. I'm going to say like a 5.2 on the can. It's just not really doing it for me. I like the shininess, but that's really about it.
I'm not.
Is a 5.2 generous?
I mean, it feels right. It's a very bland meh can. It's not bad. It's just kind of...
I don't know what's going on. If I knew background, it may help.
I'm going 4.9 though.
Wow. Is that the lowest rating on a can?
No, we
No,
probably
TJ would have to pull up his spreadsheet.
we probably dookied on Memphis made cans way worse. But
All the same.
if we're gonna be real honest, what's more important is the beer inside. This is a damn good beer.
What is
I
going
like
on?
this.
You hear that?
Nope.
Keyboard. Can you please? Natalie is blowing me up.
Beer is good. This is an amber ale, amber lager. I said it earlier. Very good. A little malty, but I put forth with it because it was good. The 16 ounce, I could definitely drink 2 of these. I'm going in like this is an 8 for me, at least an 8. Like maybe
it is very, very good. Only 4%.
maybe like an
in a
8.
pint.
Yeah, don't worry about that. Don't worry about that.
I was just pointing it out.
It is
Definitely
the
capable
flavor is delicious.
of multiple of these.
Yeah, I'm gonna say like an 8.2 probably. And it was canned within the last 40 days, which is something. Nope, no, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. I keep finding these cans from like 5 years ago, basically.
This is only 6 weeks ago.
I was kidding, yeah.
That's not that. That's not
This
terrible.
one, no, this one's better than the other ones. Yeah, I'm gonna say like 8.2 on the beer. This is good. This may be my favorite Grind City beer that I think that I've had.
It's a rugged yet light beer for those who want more flavor from their daily drink. It is definitely a daily drinker. You cut the grass, you get you a little Thaddeus.
Yeah.
Shower beer, a little Thaddeus. It is good. It is light, very refreshing as it's still hot outside here in November. That final swig, it's good. I'm gonna go 7.9 on it.
Just making sure you finished it.
What?
It didn't sound like you finished it. It
I've
like
only ever not finished 2 beers on this show.
Just checking, dude.
Andy's mint, and I don't even remember the cucumber
The
thing.
cucumber was not.
No,
very good.
the what was the other one that you didn't finish?
The cucumber.
I think
Was it the cucumber?
That's when I was in Florida.
There was one here that you didn't finish. You might have not finished 3. I forgot
Definitely
what it was.
80s.
Oh no! Yep, it was the one that tasted like smoked salmon.
Yeah. Is the smoke beer? Is a smoke beer?
Yeah.
That's what
What
it
was
was.
that?
It was the smoked hells.
Yeah, that was
Definitely something interesting.
3.
Yeah. So Tigers Untapped approved. I think that we could easily say that, right?
Absolutely.
For sure. Go get yourself a Thaddeus.
Get yourself a Thaddeus. Subscribe to YouTube.
Hey, before we go,
Before we go,
trivia. Close your computers. So Vanderbilt lost to Presbyterian tonight. We were talking about that earlier.
yes.
Just reading up a little bit on this game. I'll give you $100,000. Either one of you, if you can tell me the mascot for Presbyterian.
Presbyterian.
It's because I had a teacher that went to Presbyterian.
By the way, I'm joking about the 100,000.
Yeah, because you're getting scared. Because
Because you have a teacher that went to damn
Got real
Presbyterian.
tight right then.
My sphincter got tight.
I know it's not
Chris
right, but I'm gonna
Crawford
say
will get
something
tight.
wild like the Fighting Okra, like it's
No, that's
like it's
Delta State.
Delta State or something. The mean green okra.
It's on the tip of my tongue, and I can't.
I'm going to be stunned if you get this.
The Presbyterian.
Is that a household item?
Yeah.
What?
I think I
Maybe in the 80s or the 90s.
Okay, maybe I don't know it.
the Presbyterian record players.
That's close. Not really.
No,
but-
it's not. I was kidding. Just because you said.
Give
the
us
80s
another
players.
hint.
When I hear this, all right, I'll give you. It's 2 words.
That's your hint?
Yeah, of course.
And you're not including like a color, like the Black Knights.
What are you talking about? That's 2 words.
Wait, are they the Blue Hens?
That would not be a household item. Why would that?
Is that what it
stop
is?
Becoming.
That's not what it is.
Dang it.
Why
Who's
would
the
that
Blue
stop
Hens?
becoming Delaware?
Delaware's the Blue
yeah,
Hens.
Why would that stop being a household item in the 90s?
I don't know. I
No
thought
more
maybe he-
chickens past the 90s.
You just
A certain segment of society used to wear this in the 80s and 90s. Maybe they do now, but I don't remember.
Is it the bonnets?
No.
I don't think people are out there wearing bonnets anymore. Am I relatively close?
Trey was relatively close.
I got nothing.
I mean, so close. I was like,
pres-
I gasped a little bit.
they're Presbyterian denim skirts. It's blue something, I think.
I would have thought they were purple.
It's the You mean tell you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Presbyterian blue hose.
Hose. I knew that. I knew it.
How do you spell that?
HOSE. You know what hose?
I was kidding.
Hose, right?
Yeah, all them hoes.
All them hoes. Get blue on them hoes. All right, last
What a
question.
name, People
still
What was
wear
their
hose.
record last year?
Oh my gosh.
And what were they ranked in Division I programs this year? Ken Palm style.
274 with 9 wins.
Last year, right? You're talking about last year.
Nine wins last year.
So the record from last year and their ranking this year,
Last year they were.
preseason.
How many games did they play? 30.
32.
I was gonna say 4-28, and their Ken Palm rating is clearly 296.
They were 5-27 last year. And they were ranked 315th out of 362
Coming
teams.
into this year,
Yep, preseason.
and they
Ken
just
Palm.
won at Vandy.
Yeah.
Pretty impressive.
That is disgusting.
That's like Ouachita Baptist, dude.
Hey, man. Come on now.
All right, subscribe. Get to bluffcitymedia.co. Follow us on Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, whatever it is. Like,
Twitter.
comment, interact with us. Kenny, what'd you say? We got 60% of our viewers.
We're
aren't
down to
subscribers?
60% of our viewers on YouTube are non-subscribers.
Why?
Hey,
you subscribing?
you watching vids, you hadn't subscribed, just hit it. It takes 1 second and help us out.
You get the notification. You get Anthony's show. You get On the Bluff. You get us. I've been watching the Daily
Get the Daily
Grind.
Grind.
That's the big one I'm
Get
on.
Bluff City bets if you want to make a little cash and fade teach.
You can make a lot of money by not picking the teams I pick.
Well, you'd be 50-50 at this point.
Well,
Which goes hand in hand
You'd
with
be even. You'd just be doing it for fun.
50-50 is your mantra in life, TJ. So it's
Maybe
kind of
that's
either
instead of
are or
fate,
you aren't,
TJ.
man.
Why don't we? It's 50-50 with TJ.
that's it. I think that's the new segment. Is 50-50 with
guys
TJ.
are welcome. These things write themselves.
There you go. All right, we'll be back next week. Come with the Cold Beer Shave Without Takes. Peace.
If you enjoyed this episode of Tigers Untapped, leave a rating and a review wherever you download your podcasts. Like and subscribe at Bluff City Media's YouTube page. Head over to www.bluffcitymedia.co for comprehensive coverage of Memphis sports.